Hello, and welcome to NotesIn9. I'm David Leedy. Episode 25, Selecting Items from a Repeat Control. Lotus knows that you can pick items from a repeat, but you can't pick the repeat's nose. Okay, I don't have too many slides for this one. It's basically just going to be demo. But what I want to talk about here is basically getSelectedIDs. If you've ever used a view control, it's very easy to have a view of documents. Put a check mark next to it, and then there's simple actions that basically lets you delete the selected items, the selected documents. And there's even a method in there to kind of get the selected IDs from a view control, and that works great. But it doesn't exist for a repeat control, so you have to do it manually. So if you want to have a pure repeat because you're styling it yourself, how do you select documents inside the repeat for later processing? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's go to the demo. Okay, so for this show, we're going to go back to xpagescheatsheet.com, which is where you can get the cheat sheets, this demo app, which we're going to be looking at in a second here, and the fake names database. And I also have these direct links to the two Jumpstart videos, of which part 2 is much more interesting. So don't miss that if you haven't seen it. So what I want to talk about today is picking rows inside a repeat control. Something you can easily do inside a view control, but not in the repeat control. It's not built in. So here's a simple repeat, and there's a button next to each row. So I can click Add, and I'm highlighting this, and then I can refresh it and say, yes, I actually did get a handle to the units for these items. I can remove one and refresh it, and yes, that has gone. So it actually does work. So I just wanted to show you that. So how do we make this work? Okay, well here's a custom control, which most everything's based on custom controls. And if we look at this, oops, and we come to the events of the custom control, it's bound to a view, which is where the repeat kind of comes from. And there's an event in the post open view. And what I'm doing in here is I'm creating a variable called myList. And this is a Java util array list. Okay, now this is actual Java. Don't panic. I don't know Java either, but I got a little help with this, and it's really not that hard to use. It's nothing to be afraid of. So what do I do with this variable? I'm going to put it in a session scope, and I'm going to call it myList. And what an array list is, it's kind of like a list in Lotus script. So it's very easy to add and remove single value items to it. You can probably do double value. I'd have to check into that. So now I've basically declared this variable in session scope. Why session scope? Well, we're going to be picking items. What if the guy navigates or the user navigates from page to page or something like that? I want to try and remember this for them to make it easy because that's kind of what it's all about. So down here, we've got a repeat control, and all this is bound to the view and has a collection name of row data. And you can see the field here is just row data, get column values. Nothing too interesting here. But the button, let's look at the add button. And it's got an event. And what we're doing is I'm creating a variable called key code, which is going to hold the unit. So row data, get document, get universal ID. Now this is kind of an expensive call, I think. So you want to be careful when you use the get document. But I'm not sure if I know a better way to do this. So I get the unit and I put in the variable key code. Then I get the array, the list array, from the session scope and put that in a variable called myArray. And I say if it's not already in the array, so if not, myArray, and then the method contains key code. So if the unit doesn't exist, then add it. So these are the methods, contains and add. Not that scary for doing pretty much pure Java work. And then I'm going to click cancel here. And then the remove button is pretty much the reverse. So I get a handle to the unit that the row I'm working in. I get that array back down, that list array, and then I just say, I don't even have to check it now. I just have to say remove key code. Okay, cool. So now the buttons are showing and hiding appropriately. So how does that work? If I click on add and come here to the rendered, and it doesn't say rendered sometimes for some reason. Same basic thing. So I'm basically getting the same data that I've had. And if it's not contained, so if it's not existing in key code, then I return true. So show the button, show the add button if it's not already in there. And then if it is, return false. So don't show it. And remove is basically the reverse again. Oh, there it is, visible. Look, hooray. Okay, and then if it's not, then I just have this basically reversed. So if it's not in there, then return false, etc. Then the last thing I do is I do a little styling on the row to just denote that it's highlighted. Um, and oops, and if I come down to style, and you can see I've got a CSS file in here, which it's probably not that interesting because you probably know CSS better than I do. I'm doing the same basic thing as the hiding thing. So if it's not in the key code, then I basically do nothing. And then if it is, then I return highlight, the highlight class, and it styles that little block. And that's how you make this work. So up here with this refresh button, this is just a partial refresh. At least I hope it's a partial refresh. Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's a partial refresh of this repeat here. And this repeat, this is a little interesting. Because remember, a repeat can repeat any kind of list-based item. So here, all I have to do is map the repeat, bind it to session scope my list. That's it. Nothing else. And I give it the collection name list data. And then if I look at the value, this computed field, it's just list data, and then I'm adding a space, comma space, and then it just shows the units there. And if you wanted to do actual work on this array, you just get a hold of list data in SSJS and iterate through it and do whatever it is you need to do a delete or whatnot. And that's how it works. And I've actually used this in production already for a user to present them with a list of documents to do some kind of back-end processing on to move from like one location to another location, and it works, and they're happy, and we like that. And that's the demo. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, you can contact me at dlady@NotesIn9.com. Don't forget to check out the cheat sheet and the XPages TV. XPages.tv is a lot more videos. And I thank you for your time.